Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real, I don't mind being talked about. My problem come in when they start making stuff up. So you can talk about me all you want. It is what it is. You know, it's either I did it or I didn't. I said it or I didn't. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I let whoever think whatever, feel whatever. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's the making up part. It's the lying part. It's the adding on to part that always get me. I don't mind being talked about. It's when y'all start lying that bothers me.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, happy Thursday, all. I hope you guys had a wonderful week so far. Tomorrow, oh my gosh, another week almost gone. Almost gone. I was going to do a funny clip and I couldn't download it. So I'm playing it now. I feel the need to laugh, and this thing tore my butt up. You have to watch. you have to watch. Are you ready? Don't say I never do anything for you guys. Don't ever say that.
Let me just tell you what your new kitty sitter did.
I just got home. Can we not do this right now?
We're gonna do it right now. First off, she didn't escape my dodo box. I am so traumatized over this. I had to use the bathroom in the floor.
You did what?
Yeah, I said that I used the bathroom.
Oh, I did it again.
I need you to
Every
stop
time
confusing.
I go to move this thing up.
Let me
All right,
just tell
I'll
you
leave
what
it
your new
alone.
kitty sitter did.
I just got home. Can we not do this
I'm
right
not
now?
touching it.
We're gonna do it right now. First off, she didn't escape my dodo box. I am so traumatized over this. I had to use the bathroom in the floor.
You did what?
Yeah, I said that I used the bathroom in the floor because my doo-doo box was not clean. It's gonna take years of therapy to get over this.
Did you at least take your medicine?
Nope.
I heard that you was very bad.
I gave her a hard time. I'm tired.
Anything else I should know?
She kept talking to boys. I said, ain't gonna be no hanky-panky in my house. And she eat all of Dapper's cookies, too.
I'm going to go have a chat with the other three. Don't run off, because I ain't done with you. Weezer, how was the new kitty sitter?
She didn't scoop my doo-doo box. And she told me I couldn't leave after dark to go deal. That's my job. And I tinkled in the floor.
It's okay. I will make sure your doo-doo box is always clean. Well, Tigger, how about you?
Mama, I drank a lot of beer, so I need my doo-doo box clean.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
She told me I drank too much. Miss Mama, ma'am, she ate all my cookies.
I'll go buy you some today.
I laid holy paws on her when she's asleep. Miss Mama, ma'am, I thought she brought the fleas in with her.
No, that's just your flea medicine I just put on you so you don't get fleas.
Oh, okay. Did you have a good time on your trip?
Yeah, I had a good time, but I missed y'all. I was ready to come home.
We missed you too, Miss Mama, ma'am.
Hey, now back to you.
Whoa, hold up. Let me get my big self up.
Willow,
What do you want, woman? I am having issues.
what issues are you having?
Well, for one, I'm fat and I'm trying to clean myself. And two, you put this gunk on us and now it's itchy.
Had you rather have fleas?
No, I'd rather have chicken nuggets and chocolate milk. But I'm assuming that's out of the question.
Girl, bye. I gotta go unpack.
I'm sorry. I saw that skit on here and I loved it. I loved it. I just had to. I had to. And it made me laugh. It made me laugh. If you're wondering, what in the world am I doing? I have been up like since, I don't know, like 1 a.m. And it's 7. So I've been up for 6 hours. I've been up for 6 major hours today. And you're probably saying, well, what the heck did you do? What did you do with all your time? Well, if you guys remember, we actually had, I told you guys at the beginning of June, I ordered a massive document request. And they gave me a bill of, I don't know, like 100. It had to have been like right about 160 because they take a deposit of 50%. Whatever the bill is, they do like an estimated calculation of how much it's going to cost you to get this document request. And they give you a bill and then they take 50% of it. So, so this 50% of, oh, I didn't realize I knocked my screen off. Hold on a second. So long story short, they took the 50%. Where is it? There we go. They took the 50% up front, which was the $89.06. So whatever that was times 2 was the total bill that I received, right? So I went ahead and paid that. Okay. Now here's the reason why the documents took so long to get to is because I was expecting a bill of, you know, $170, $180 tops, right? So I was expecting to spend maybe $90 more on the document request. Well, it wasn't like that. The document request ended up costing me an additional $242.34. So we have over $300. The Bullhorn Betty channel right now has $300 invested in this document request. I wanted to have it all ready for you guys today and show you guys some of the stuff that I learned through this document request. Here's the issue. I can't. I'm going to be showing it to you guys soon. Because it's a massive document request and I'm going through it. I mean, the actual page, I have almost 1,600 pages to go through, which I ended up going through the majority of those 1,600 pages already this morning, believe it or not, I have. And I have a lot of videos and other body cam and dash cam footage that I'm trying to download. And so as of right now, I've got like 6.5 gigabytes downloaded, but I had to pause it so I could run the live, because with it downloading off the internet, it will drain the live. It'll do something with the bandwidth, whatever, right? I'm not techie. I just know that this does not act right when things are downloading for hours on end. It's a huge, huge file. So I'm going to be reviewing all the video and audio footage that I have. I've already went through a lot of the document requests. Did I find anything? You bet your butt I did. You bet your butt I did. And we're going to be rolling that out, and interesting stuff. And I don't know how to present it, because it's going to have to be presented delicately, you know, because some of the stuff I found out are related to some of the victims, but nothing bad. I mean, it's nothing huge. It's kind of cute, if anything else, you know. It's kind of, you know, just a little stuff that happened, you know, again, the university experience. So good morning, ZA. It's nice to see you. Oh, Lady O, Twin Mom T, nice to see you as well. Jennifer, good morning. Big boy, nice to see you. Nice to see you. You know, who has been here and I keep forgetting to say good morning to? Robert's Girl. Holy smokes. I was looking, watching the video yesterday. I didn't even see Robert's Girl pop in here. So if you guys see Robert's Girl, make sure that you let Robert's Girl know that I said hi. She's one of my mods, and I don't even say hi to her anymore, right? Brittany Blue Eyes, it's nice to see you. The Real Me Too, good morning. GG for Life, Miss Potty Mouth. Good morning, Miss Davis, Miss Karen Davis. Tammy Crimes, it's nice to see you. Oh, Tammy, that reminds me, I went through that. I'll have to get with you after this this live today. I'll have to get with you throughout the slide. I got some questions for you. I may have asked you, but I can't remember if I asked you or if I forgot to ask you, because I don't remember talking about it. But I went through that case, like, I don't know, a week or so ago, and had wanted to follow up with you. L, Lisa Slazy, nice to see you. Sheila, good morning. 14, Judith. Nice to see you. Hopefully I'm saying that right, which for whatever reason, I keep thinking I'm not. Bougie Redneck. Nice to see you, Bougie Redneck. You know what? It's so funny. I don't know what made me think about this. I've had it for a really long time. I've had the redneck wine glass. You know what the redneck wine glass is? It's like a glass solo cup on a wine stem, right? I'm classy. I'm a classy redneck. It just made me think of that when I saw your name. Happy Thursday. Good morning. It's nice to see you here. Sonia, Miss Lee, mom of 3, Lulu's Nana. It's nice to see you. Diesel Roddy Pup. Nice to see you as well. Who else do we have? Tammy. It's good to see you here. Mac J. Good morning. Sub-Zero, good morning. It's nice to see you in here. Leaf Lover Liz, good morning. Colleen, it's nice to see you. What else do we have up in here? Up in here. Angie, good morning. Angie Gibson, nice to see you. And everybody else, I see Cool Gamer in the house. I'm trying to get down to the bottom because we had this open for some time this morning, because I think I set it up. Either set it up yesterday. Who cares? I do. Good morning. I feel like I set this up either last night before I went to bed or early this morning. I can't tell which. Gail Howie, it's nice to see you. I'm so much a cat person. I'm an animal person. I'm not a cat or a dog person. It doesn't really matter to me. Evie, it's nice to see you. Beach Life, Southern Grammy Wolf, nice to see you. Fan Lady, God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Soaring Eagle, Darlene, K in Maine, good morning, love. Lori Lowe, good morning, good morning. So it's nice to see all of you here today. And I've got a few things, a lot of this stuff is going to be recapping what we've already learned. We are also going to be talking about some other additional stuff that maybe we've talked on, but just hasn't solidified in our brains and hasn't hit home yet. Is time running out for Bryan Kohberger? Yes, I do believe it is. I kind of feel at this point the gig is up. And I think from this point forward, we're going to see the spiraling of, his demeanor, in my opinion. Not stuff like where he's going to be violent. He's not that kind of person. He's one of those people that are cowards when he can attack his victim, right? He's a sneaky type of criminal. He's not one that does it in your face. I know Jennifer Coffendoffer, great perspective, her being a retired law enforcement agent, her talking about the need to have him shackled and cuffed. Yeah, he's calm, cool, and collective right now, but we have to remember this man is on trial for literally his life. He has nothing to lose, and we know he is at least capable of killing 4 people. And, that we need to be, we need to take the blinders off and realize Bryan Kohberger is a dangerous person, a very dangerous and lethal person. I concur with the state stating that, he has a propensity for murder, and will do it again if he is not stopped. I truly do believe that in my heart and soul. Many of us have expressed those very concerns on this channel related to Bryan Kohberger. Many of us believe that he has prior victims. For me, the prior victims, not necessarily dead victims, but I do believe he has a history of victims in his wake, from wherever he was. A lot of misinformation has been going around and has been running rampant in this case from out the gate, literally from day one. If you guys remember, people were speculating on the condition. They were speculating on the victims were tied up and gagged. Remember all that? And during the initial press conferences, they had to do a lot of explaining and saying, no, that's not true. No, this is not accurate. This is not, please get your information from us. Don't be relying on misinformation from other people. And they specifically addressed being bound and gagged at one of those very press conferences. So, there's been a lot of misinformation about this case right out the gate. I don't know where people are getting some of their theories or speculation, but it's not the theories and speculation that I would have derived from the same factual information. I can tell you from out the gate, we've never known the conditions of the bodies. We've never known the positions of the bodies. As a matter of fact, I'm working right now to recreate some of the positionings and where the bed and bed was at, so we can really look at this Brett Payne affidavit and get an idea, because we're looking at they're using north, southeast, west. We need to be looking at that the renderings of that house to determine where's north, where's south. From research today, I have now realized the front of that house, when you're facing the front of that house, you're facing due south, because the front of that house is facing due north. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until the day when I was doing this, because, that record request, when you start reading it, you find some new information that you didn't know, and you're like, whoa. And then you start looking into this and you start going down this. It's all part of the web sleuthing. You start with one thing and you just keep following it and winding it and just keep going and going and going and going. We found a lot of interesting information. I don't want to disclose that just yet, because I'm not ready to release the information just yet. So another part of this is, not just is this time running out, but another issue raised by the defense is basically them saying there's virtually no connection between Bryan Kohberger and this household or these victims. And we did a whole live here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Maria, nice to see you. Yeah, nice to have you here. Good. Nice to see you, Maria. But, I don't necessarily think that that's an accurate description or depiction of the relationship. I do believe there is a connection. Obviously, he's being accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Gonzalez, Maddie Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. He is accused of killing them, of murdering them in their sleep in the early morning hours on November 13th between 4 a.m. and 4:20 in the morning. We went over the Brett Payne affidavit so many times. And I don't know if at the beginning I realized Bryan was in the neighborhood an hour before he carried out this heinous crime. But I can tell you that recently, if I had forgotten that fact, I now remember that. That to me is a very interesting factor. Also, I showed you guys this rendering. This is from that AZ Get. Let it pull up here. And it's
entered the neighborhood at 3:29 a.m.
Oh, that's the wrong one. This is not the one she had the other one. Let me find it. She has the rendering of them. I saw it this morning. So, there's 2 of them that are upside down, and here it is. There it is.
In the beginning, most of us believed the 2 surviving roommates, Bethany and Dylan, were sleeping on the first floor. Since then, we've learned Dylan was sleeping here on the second floor, along with Xana and Ethan, located here. Kaylee and Madison were located here on the 3rd floor. The dog was located on the 3rd floor, and the room by itself.
Okay.
Let's move around.
So you see how I try to blow this up because it's very finicky because I'm on, but you see how they have this bedroom here where they're showing Xana, or excuse me, Maddie and Kaylee up here in the room. There's Murphy over in Kaylee's old room. You see how the bed is positioned? I don't believe it's positioned that way. In this rendering, they have it positioned that way. But I really don't believe it is positioned that way. And this is what I'm talking about here. When I put this due north, you're looking. So at the front of their house. So if you're standing in the front driveway of their house, looking at their front door, you are looking due south. The front of their house is facing due north. So, Maddie's bedroom is on this corner over here. Okay. It's in the back side over here in the corner. And it's identified in the Brett Payne affidavit as the southeast side of the 3rd floor of the house, which is right here. And of course, we confirmed this being Maddie Mogen's bedroom early on in this investigation, because Olivia and I were out at this property. And when we went to the backside of that house, you could clearly see Maddie's prized pink boots sitting in the window of that very room. I also believe when we were there, the lights kind of coming out of the home were almost amber. They weren't like a normal white light like you see above me, that you see in my glasses from the ring lights that I've got set up around this computer. These are white lights, but the color emitting from those rooms were an amber color. And I truly believe it's because the blood covered the bulbs and it made almost an amber color in those rooms. I mean, I can't describe it. We tried to capture it the best we could with, camera footage and video footage, but it was really, really hard to capture. but it was just something really bizarre and odd about the lights inside the home. You know, normal people, normal households, when they go to the store, they buy normal white light bulbs. You know, some of them have a really good crystal white color. Some of them have more of a yellow color, but not an amber color. You know, it's just a subtle difference from white to yellow, but not amber. This was just an odd color emitting from, especially that back side of that house, where we could see, and that the one that I could see into, the room I could see into a little bit, was Maddie Mogan's. So I've always wondered that. It's always kind of been there in the pit of my stomach, right? So what was going on there? So I wanted to just kind of refocus our conversation here, and then I'm going to go through a couple little things with you, and then we're going to open up the phone lines and maybe have more of an in-depth discussion, maybe listen to some of your perspectives on the information here. But a lot of the information that it sounds like the prosecution and the state are fighting for are a bunch of stuff that they're just not entitled to have. It almost seems like they're trying to get this information almost to place blame on somebody else. I don't know if that necessarily is the best strategy for them. They do have to find somebody else. They have to find probable cause. That's what the defense has to do. That is literally their only job right now, is to find, probable cause that somebody else could have done it. You know, they putting doubt in the jury's mind, finding somebody else that could possibly, potentially, maybe could have done it. They need to find that person. They need to find the mistakes. They need to find that bad write-up for an officer that was doing the work on this case, so they can discredit this officer, which is a horrible process for the people that are investigating these cases. And that's why it's so important that a lot of the people that go up on that stand are pristine. They don't have a whole lot in their background. They don't have a whole lot of, issues, write-ups, complaints, mistakes, errors. You just don't want to see that. So that's the concern. And there was some other stuff here that I thought was very, very interesting that I think you guys need to know before we kind of move on. And this was really interesting. This comes from Jennifer Coffendorfer. I kind of like the way she looks at things. I mean, it's not, I go here and there's a few people that, I highly respect, and I like the way that they explain things. I like how analytical they are. I like how they look at things and digest them, and then, throw something out to their audience to make them think. And I really think that's what Jennifer Coffendorfer really tries to do. And so I'm very appreciative of that, right? I'm very appreciative of that. And this is no different when it comes to, there we go. And here's what she wrote. Let me see if I can move this over just out of my face. So from Jennifer Coffendorfer, she says, I've been thinking a lot about Bryan Kohberger's defense lately. I always look at both sides of the pancake. Defenses plus. They've received approval for him to dress in a suit and tie and not be handcuffed during hearings. Unheard of, but a big coup for the defense. The other one is no victim DNA resulting from searches of Bryan's car, home, and office. Now, I'm still iffy on that. We're hearing that the defense is making the leap that there is no basically no DNA connection between Bryan Kohberger and the victims. And I totally disagree. They're trying to act like there's no sheath. There is your DNA connection. We do have a biological connection from Bryan Kohberger to the victims. Now, how he cleaned up, how he was able to mitigate the blood in his car, home, and office, that is based upon him being very meticulous in planning. If it wasn't for that sheath, almost everything else went off without a hitch, and that is due to great planning. He knew where he was going to go. He knew how he was going to leave. He knew where he needed to go to drop off certain things. He knew which way to go home and not the direct, easy way to drive back to Wazoo. So the prosecution pluses, which she lists quite a bit. As you see, the defense, not a whole lot, but something. But the prosecution, big laundry list of pluses. Cell information linking him to 1122 King on multiple occasions. His Elantra on video in the early morning hours before and after murders. Description fitting him given by Dylan Mortensen. Cell phone being turned off during the murders. Items seized from him matching the description of what DM described. Him packaging and disposing of trash with gloves before arrest. Him cleaning his car. No known alibi at this time. Ticketed near 1122 King Road. Blood at the apartment, although void from victim DNA, so we are told. Anchor of the case, the DNA found on the sheath underneath victim's body. Probable additional facts pro-prosecution that we haven't seen in official documents. And so we're listing what has not been seen in official documents thus far, and his purchase of the K-bar knife and sheath from Amazon. Possession of IDs linked to the house. Background information regarding Kohberger, such as visual snow, issues with women, being fired, surveillance training, security training, Stava information, his cell phone linking to Bluetooth, other information that could help the prosecution or the defense, and she lists as Google searches, social media evidence, footprints at 1122 King and their size, evidence of cleaning, receipts, access to crime lab, writings seized. Just off the top of my head, let me know what I've missed. So she's giving art credit to Miracle for Missing, which I'm believing is this right here, which is a beautiful rendering of that. But I just thought this was a really good, thought out highlight of the pros and the cons so far of this case. And I think she's spot on. You know, I do believe there might be a few things here that I would personally add. I can't remember. I don't remember if I wrote them down. I probably wrote them somewhere. And then we get back to what law enforcement first relied on in focusing their investigation on Bryan Kohberger. Ann C. Taylor is trying to allege that, one, there is no DNA linking the victims to Bryan Kohberger. Well, we do have the knife sheath, which was in the victim's house, which carries Bryan's DNA on it. So this idea that there's no DNA evidence linking, what is that? If that's not linking Bryan Kohberger to their bodies, I don't know what is. That is DNA. It is at a crime scene. That is DNA linking the victim and the culprit. So again, these are pleadings. These are things that the defense is trying to convince the courts and the public they have no DNA linking, but they do. just like they knew who Bryan Kohberger was before, or at least his name had came up in the investigation at least 1 or 2 times prior to the investigative genetic genealogy testing. And so what came first, that or the car? I believe it was the car. And then I believe with his traffic stop in August, and then having the cell phone number, and the cell phone number showing in hits of other information. Now he's got a cell phone number in our cell phone in the area, plus he's connected to a white Elantra. And then they started doing this investigative DNA and investigative genetic genealogy DNA testing to help hone in on who the person is. And it came back as a family member of Bryan Kohberger. They pulled garbage. They watched Bryan Kohberger throwing garbage away in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, wearing latex gloves, throwing it in neighbors' trash cans. The FBI or whoever was sitting on the house watching them went and snatched that garbage. They did some testing of that garbage, and at 99.95, hit came back identifying the specimen on the sheath was a biological match to the garbage as a father, or the father half of Bryan Kohberger's DNA. So it wasn't a perfect match to the DNA found on the sheath, but only a familial DNA match, i.e. the father, his father, Michael Kohberger. They did find his DNA in that trash. So they were able to link him there. Now, once he was arrested for the murders, one of the very first things that they do when you're arrested for a felony is they give you a buccal swab. It's this padded. They give you 2 of them typically. It's this like padded little circle ring that you got to stick in your mouth and get a lot of spit on it, and then you got to rub your cheeks with this foamy thing, and you give it back to them, and you do that twice. And that's how they get your DNA. But anytime you are charged with a felony, you are now required, at least here in Florida, and it sounds like it might be standard across the United States, to now get that buccal swab when you are charged with a felony. So once they had him arrested, they were able to take his personal DNA and they were able to compare it to the DNA that was pulled off the knife sheath. And it came back with a positive match, almost 6 quadrillion of it being Bryan Kohberger. Now, does that mean that Bryan Kohberger is the only specimen for that? We're learning about the markers in DNA. We're learning about the proper testing of DNA. We realize there are several different markers, and they have to be searching over the 11 and 12 loci marker in order to get a more positive and more specific hit. And while the defense is, relying on these expert witnesses, which are glorified, death penalty advocates, anti-death penalty advocates, both of them, it appears, but they're attorneys. So she's hiring attorneys. Instead of hiring chairs to defense, she's hiring expert attorneys in the area of DNA. And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up and realize, why is Bryan Kohberger entitled to all of this? He is not. He's entitled to a defense, but he is not entitled to an A-team. He is an indigent individual that cannot afford his own attorney. The taxpayers are saddled with representing and paying for the representation of Bryan Kohberger. There are multiple people in the state of Idaho that have murdered people and are on trial for their life. Are they getting this type of team for their case? Because I have a problem with this. We want to talk about the First Amendment and the Sixth Amendment. What about the 14th Amendment? Why is Kohberger more important than any other murder suspect fighting for their life? Why are they not entitled to the same type of defense Bryan Kohberger is? And why is his A-team getting a blank check to do whatever they want by the Latah County powers to be? It just doesn't make sense to me. And it doesn't seem like they're doing this to other or for other defendants, which seems to be a clear constitutional violation for the other people not that don't have the ability to get this type of defense, but are facing the same type of charges. I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair to the other criminals and their teams that are trying to defend them without any resources. Well, maybe you need to go look and say, hey, why is Bryan Kohberger's case taking our resources, right? We know Latah County is broke from this case. They're having financial issues from this case. So you're not required to break the county to give a person a defense. You're only required to give him an attorney to represent him to the best of their ability. If you really want to talk about the law. Nothing in the law says that they're entitled to 3 defense attorneys. Nothing in the law entitles a defendant to a plethora of expert witnesses. There are many and multiple people in the state of Idaho, including that Major John, that is accused of murdering people. Who picks and chooses which defendants are the winners of this A-team type of defense? Who's the chooser of the winner? Who gets that? Who gets that kind of defense? Can those not get special treatment, appeal on grounds of not being adequately defended? They can. But they have to prove they're not adequately defended. Adequate defense doesn't mean 3 attorneys and a plethora of experts. If you look at the truth, many people, they listen to words and they fantasize about what the definition of these words. When it comes to the law, everything is legally defined. Remember back whenever Chatham County tried to put this parade ordinance in for us? What did I do? I went out there and set my cameras up. They had officers come out there and said, well, you need a parade. I said, there's 5 people here. Tell me what constitutes this as a parade. Because I know that in Georgia, parade is legally defined by their law. And 5 people does not constitute a parade under the law in Chatham County, Georgia. So I was able to set up there when the officer approached me. Do what you need to do, sir. But you cannot apply a parade to me with 5 people here. You can't. And they're going to have to justify why they're making me turn my cameras off and stop me from doing my job. They would never. All he could do was say, how long do you need? 20 minutes. All right. Well, I might take 30. Well, we're going to give you 20. Well, if I don't choose to do 30, what are you going to do? Right? You going to arrest me for going 10 minutes over? Like, what do you think you are going to be able to do to me? I'm on public property. And I'm not breaking the law. Please tell me what this law enforcement officer thinks he's going to do. Nothing. He can't. He has no authority. He can threaten me all day long. He can sit there and make my life miserable. He can be talking over me while I'm carrying on my life. But what he cannot do is arrest me for a crime I did not commit. And if he did, do you think I would get the 18? Ask Dolly. Is Dolly getting the 18? Well, he's not in jail for capital crime, right? But we're only required to give them counsel. That's all we're required to do under the law. And that counsel person is to represent them to the best of their ability. Now, granted, in our courts, we do give them they usually have a number. Here is what you are allowed to spend on your defense. Here you go. That's it. That's it. We don't have these ongoing contracts of, $200 an hour, $100. I mean, yeah, you break down, you have to in contracts, specificity. So those things are in the but you have a limit. None of their documents for Bryan Kohberger has a limit. Is this man in the fight for his life? Is time running out for Bryan Kohberger? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Everybody keeps saying that this DNA is a huge piece of evidence. It ties them biologically. It's the only piece of evidence that biologically ties Bryan Kohberger to that crime scene. That's it so far that we know. Is there more? Well, I have to think that there's more DNA evidence, right? Because we've already got the defense saying, hey, there's no DNA connecting Bryan Kohberger to these victims. But the knife sheath that they keep forgetting about, right? So if they keep forgetting about the knife sheath and thinking that's not DNA connecting him to the victims, then maybe there is truly some test out there that links them together that she's trying to act like doesn't exist, like she's trying to act like the knife sheath doesn't exist and the DNA on the knife sheath, right? She's trying to work very hard to get that kicked out. That's why she's going through all of this stuff about the investigative genealogy, genetic genealogy. It had nothing to do with whether they were going to find Bryan Kohberger or not, but she has to find a reason to try to challenge that DNA. And the only thing that they have on their side to challenge that DNA from where I'm sitting is that investigative genealogy, genetic genealogy testing, which is what triggered that Brady Giglio material, notice, disclosure, all of that. It was all about this investigative genealogy, the fact that they did not want to provide that information, the fact that the FBI has already removed the profile, already removed the family tree. So it's not something that they have tangible that they can hand over to the defense. It's something that has to be replicated, and you can't replicate something after the fact because one little thing might be wrong. And if that one little thing is wrong, they can say, oh, well, you know what? We can't use it, Your Honor. Fruit from the poisonous tree. Fruit from the poisonous tree. So part of my investigation, part of the stuff that I've been going through, is looking into this and looking into all of the prior stuff that we had, before that didn't quite add up or make sense to us and things of that nature. So I'm really going back and looking at several different things. And there are a few things that still don't add up for me. There's a few things that still don't add up for me, and a couple things that I really don't like. So here are several things that have not been released that, in my opinion, should be, okay? And one is the August 21st, Bryan Kohberger being pulled over in Moscow, Idaho. Showing that will not jeopardize his. I don't care. They can try to allege, argue, and whatever, but outside of the word salad that they're giving to the courts, there is no way that is prejudicial to him by being released. We already have his stop in Pennsylvania. We already have a stop in Indiana, the 2 stops in Indiana. We already have a stop in Pullman, Washington. What difference does it make if we see one from August 21st in Moscow? It's literally him getting a ticket for a traffic citation. It's not going to kill his rights to a fair trial. They should release it. And I don't think they have that. I don't think this non-dissemination order really covers that. I don't know if it does. I did print it out. I am going through it. I'm trying to do some legal investigation on it. I got to look at the law and see if what he's saying, because here's the issue that I have with this judge. He's constantly bringing up Lori Daybell Vallow, Chad Daybell. He's constantly referring to them when it comes to the camera. Well, let me tell you something, Judge. Why don't you follow their step with the non-dissemination order? Since you're so keen to this hearing, right, with the Vallows, the Daybell cases, right, the both of them, Lori and Chad. Guess what? They didn't have, Judge. They didn't have non-dissemination orders in their file. Imagine that. A high-profile case with no non-dissemination order. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe because it's hard to constitutionally do that when you're trying to wrap everything in it, it has to be narrowly drawn. And he goes and further expands this non-dissemination order. Like, this judge, to me, just is not getting what the Supreme Court is saying. I think he is, but he's just not listening. She's going to fight it. He's going to make these people work for it. And he wants everybody just to back off of his back. Get off his back. Back off. That's his thing. That's the judge thing. Back off. Back off. You know, everybody's happy to back off, Your Honor, if you just, you know, do things above board, you know, within the law. I still don't think this non-dissemination order cuts the mustard. I just don't. I don't. And I believe I believe it could be legally challenged. And I believe it should. But we'll see what the appetite is of the Gonzalez family attorney and what the appetite is of the media coalition and whether they're going to challenge this. Here's another tidbit from Jennifer Coffendoffer that I thought was interesting, that I thought you guys might consider interesting as well. And it says a law enforcement had, oh, you can't see it. Hold on, let me see if I can blow this up. It says law enforcement had about 10 days after identifying suspect Bryan Kohberger to determine associated addresses, write 5 search warrants, conduct site survey of locations, write a 20-page probable cause affidavit, assemble a surveillance team thousands of miles away, coordinate a SWAT arrest team 1,000 miles away, conduct 24/7 surveillance of home in PA and BK, analyze all known past information concerning BK they could acquire via subpoenas and search warrants, obtained and analyzed cell information of BK, obtained vehicle information concerning BK, not only write warrants, but get them signed by a judge. Put together evidence response teams to conduct searches, work out logistics, travel arrangements for case agents and Moscow lead officers to travel, coordinate with forensic labs concerning the exigent genealogy testing that needed to be done, conduct covert trash pools in PA to obtain comparable DNA samples to get to a lab. So that's off the top of her head as well. And, you know, we also talk here on the Bullhorn Betty channel about how proud we are of the Moscow Police Department. You know, we are very critical of some of the processes because this is a man's life. We want to know how they came to learn of Bryan Kohberger, you know, what evidence they have against him. This man is fighting for his life. His time is running out, right? So we want to know, do they have the right person? But in all fairness, kudos to law enforcement. Nobody knew who Bryan Kohberger was. He was literally the needle in a haystack. They were able to find him within 50 days and make an arrest thousands of miles away. They did an amazing job. They did an amazing job. No matter how critical we are of the process, how we dissect it after the fact, I believe in my heart and in my soul that they have the right person behind bars for this. You know, we still want to see the evidence. We want to confirm that as a fact. Again, this is a man's life we are talking about. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the only people that are sitting behind bars in our jails here in the United States are the ones that are deserving of sitting behind bars here in the United States. We don't want Bryan Kohberger behind bars if he did not do this. But let's talk about it. How suspicious. And not only that, are they going to be able to prove that he's had the habit of turning his phone off between these hours every day? They're not going to be able to prove it. If he's been up there for 3 months, and out of all 3 months, he's never turned his phone off, except between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. on the day of these homicides, that's pretty suspicious to me. That's pretty suspicious to me. Now, do I know if that's the genuine facts? I don't. I'm speculating. I'm just theorizing. That is not even speculation. That's just theory. You know, that's just theorizing. That's just theorizing. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the phones and see who wants to call in. Give me just a second as I make my way through this process because it takes a moment. It takes a minute. If you guys would like to call in, the number is 724-249-6140. Again, that's 724-249-6140. If you'd like to call in for the Bryan Kohberger case, going over this information, do you believe Bryan Kohberger's time is running out? Do you believe law enforcement has the right person? How do you feel that this case is going so far? Do you feel he's getting good representation by his counsel, by Nancy Taylor? I think he's being overrepresented, quite frankly. I mean, this is a worldwide case. I mean, it is very notable. And we want to make sure that he has a proper defense. There's no doubt about that. But there's nothing telling us that we need to have 3 attorneys and a plethora of experts on his A team. We're not required to give him an A team. That's not what we're required to do here in the United States of America. We're here to provide him proper counsel. That is all we are required to provide. Do you think whenever I had to use a public defender, do you think I got the A team? No, I feel duped. I feel cheated. Thank God I've never been on I've never had a fight for my life. I'm not stupid enough and kill people, right? I don't do that. But if I was sitting in jail right now on a capital offense and I saw this Yahoo, this thing getting an A team while I'm sitting in solitary confinement, begging my piece of garbage, public defender to file a motion for discovery, I would be highly offended. I would be upset. I would be screaming bloody murder. I would be raising 14th Amendment issues. I would be demanding the same A team that Bryan Kohberger has. If I committed murder in Idaho and I'm sitting there getting ready to go on trial, right? What else do we have here? Oh, this is really sweet. This is really sweet. We don't get a whole lot. Oh, you know what? Don't call just yet. Don't call just yet. If anybody calls, I'm going to have to take you off. I got to show this. But we don't get an opportunity to speak about Xana too much. And Xana's birthday is coming up on July 5th. I don't know how many people know. She's going to be turning 21 years old. And her family, Sheldon Kernodle writes, the 5th would have been Xana's 21st birthday. Anyone who knew her knows she would have had one hell of a party to celebrate. Our family will be starting an annual tradition to honor Xana every year on her birthday called Xana Palooza. So they're actually inviting everybody to join them on July 5th for the Xana Palooza. And I really just, we don't really get a chance to talk about Xana too much. When we were out there, we were going around to learn about, Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan's life. And we were never able to get over to Idaho Falls to cover her and her history. We were able to get the 2 girls and we were able to get Ethan, but we were never able to get over there and really dive into her case too much. I feel bad because you hear, Sheldon has made several comments, on several different platforms about how he just feels like, Xana's not getting enough attention. And I have to agree, Xana really isn't getting a whole lot of attention. She was also another victim of this family. It sounds like, the Kernodles, the Gonzalez and the Mogans are kind of, supporting each other. They're communicating with each other. It sounds like everybody is kind of on board with this united front for the most part. At least 3 of the 4 families. That's kind of what it appears to be for this. And I, again, just wanted to show you guys this. Oops, let me go back. What did I do? Did something. I screwed something up. That's not what I wanted. I wanted Channy. Oh, maybe I hit the wrong one. Okay. All right, so that's it. We don't really have anybody calling the phones right now, so that's really all I have. We will be back later today. I've got a few more record requests in because the record requests that I got obviously made me have a couple more questions. You know, obviously I had questions related to the large document requests I want. By the way, if you guys would like to help sponsor, again, it was over $300. I already gave them like $89 at the beginning of June, and then I just had to drop another $234 on these documents, as well as videos. I've got to reinitiate the download of the videos because I was at almost 7 gigabytes and it still wasn't done yet. But if you would like to help with those costs of it, I've already expended the cost. So, you know, if you would like to give $1 or $2 toward them, I'd greatly appreciate it. You can send it to any of my Venmo, CashApp, or PayPal. I think this is Turkey Man. Let's see. Good morning.
Hey, Betty.
Oh, it's Mab. I couldn't remember whose number that was. How are you doing?
It's 5:12 here.
It's too darn early. 5:12. But I was up this morning. I woke up when you saw me in Dumplings chat. That's when I woke up, and then I just I got to get to work. Like I was getting restless.
Yeah, I was getting tired at Dumplings chat.
Well, you're kind of like me. You got all these weird sleep times and everything. Thank you, Lula's Nana. So what do you think about all this?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think about all this?
I just skipped through it because I just woke up.
Oh. Well, what did you want to say? What did you want to talk about? What do you want to chat about, my friend?
Well, all the money they're spending.
Oh, good Lord.
And the Moscow, Idaho Police Department did a spectacular job.
Yeah.
I can't talk very well.
That's okay. But you know what? My biggest thing is I've got a couple fronts here. You know, we all know that Bryan is officially fighting for his life now. I don't know. I personally saw a demeanor change in Bryan Kohberger when he went to court this last time. I mean, he just didn't seem so cocky. He didn't seem so confident. He seemed like he's becoming more of a shell. More concerned. He seemed like he was paying more attention. You know, he was paying really good attention to what his attorney was saying. But it's the cost of all of this, you know, and there are other creators that are bringing this up. You know, this is getting, you know, we're required to defend them. We're not required to give them this elite A team, something like, you know,
yeah, we're not required to give them the OJ team.
Right.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
I mean, if you were in Indiana and you were another person that was sitting there going to trial for murder or a capital crime in your state, and you find out that this guy over in Moscow, Idaho is getting this elite A team, and I'm stuck with one crap public defender, I'd be highly frustrated and angry.
Yeah. I'm from Indiana.
So, I don't know.
I was born there.
Did I say Indiana? I'm at Idaho.
Oh, okay.
When you said Indiana, I realized I must have said Indiana because I'm always thinking about that Indiana traffic stop. So I don't know, I get tongue-tied, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Indiana traffic stop for Kohberger.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see those videos. Like I've got several videos that I'm in the process of downloading right now that came from that document search. And where did you go? There you are. And it I haven't even had a chance. I know a couple of those are, August 16th and September 1st, the body cameras from the two noise complaints that they had at the house. I know 2 of those are at least that, but there should be a few other ones in there.
I still think Emma Bailey is involved.
You know what? It's kind of funny because I did find in the documents that I reviewed this morning, which took me hours to do this morning, I did find some interesting, I'm not prepared to talk about it yet, but I did find some interesting stuff that came to me.
Demetrius.
Yeah. But there was definitely drugs in that area. There was definitely drugs in that area. I know that 100%. It has been. I have corroborated it as of this morning.
The Matt Grigg, Sitka, Alaska, cross country. Cross country. Drug. Possible drug connection there.
Well, I'm not sure if their house necessarily was the drug house, but I can tell you that there was one very close by.
I think that was the drug house.
It was not.
No?
Nope.
So there was one close by.
Yep.
Was it the one with the other?
I'll have to look at the address, but I've got the address on one of these documents here, and it tells me the address because they actually busted somebody.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I've got the address, and you can kind of see it. But yes, it is on that street, but it's not that house.
Mab is sleep talking. Somebody said in chat. I am sleep talking because I only got.
That's so funny.
3 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like me, but I went to bed early last night. I went to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I woke up at like 1. That's 5 hours, and I usually only sleep about 6. So I got up and I worked here until about 5, and I went and laid down for an hour, and I got back up. So I've already had my 6 hours of sleep today.
And went to bed at 2 and got up at 5, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I got some pretty interesting stuff. I think you guys are going to be in it. This is stuff prior to the murders, of course. But definitely interesting and definitely something I wasn't expecting to find.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You do hard work, Betty.
I do, and I've been up for hours going through all this stuff, and obviously it's with Moscow. What upsets me about Moscow is you should have seen all of the requests that came in for 2 specific videos. And do you know that out of the hundreds of people, they charged every single person the same amount of money to produce that video?
How much?
Probably close to I don't know, $40 at least.
And how many people?
At least 100.
$4,000.
$4,000 times 2.
$8,000.
Yep. And that's just off 2 videos. Like I just dropped I've already spent close to $700 in document requests from Moscow so far. They're expensive.
I got to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm waking up, Chad. I'm waking up.
Yeah, I've been doing it for so long because I was doing it for the political stuff. So, turning the document request, we just apply the same rules just for these cases. So it was an easy transition. At least, yeah. So
I think there's a drug connection for sure.
Yeah, they're right, but I don't think the kids. I don't know. Well, here's a few things that I noticed that were missing. So we don't have the 911 call. We don't have his being stopped on August 21st. They're not releasing the autopsy, which, you know, usually by this time we've already heard the 911 call in a case like this, and we've already got the autopsy report. They held all of that in this case. All the stuff that we're accustomed to getting in these high profile cases, we're not getting in this case. That's what's making people so nervous. And then you got this judge doing these non-dissemination orders, and he's referring to the Vallow and Daybell cases.
Daybell, yeah.
And they have no non-dissemination orders in their files. They have none.
I know. This judge is, I don't like this judge.
I don't like him either. I think he's just inexperienced in this type of case. And he's applying the wrong laws. I mean, he's just he's just going to cause problems, and I think he's going to end up forcing this stuff to be challenged in the Supreme Court. I just think that's a horrible position to put people in, to force the Supreme Court to rule on something that's not an issue for 99% of the courts in Idaho, except for this man's court. Like that's serious stuff. I mean, the Supreme Court is going to make a ruling if it goes to the Supreme Court, a ruling, something that's set in stone because this one judge has a problem, not the 90% of judges across Idaho, but because this one judge can't, he's got to control literally everything. And he gets so angry at anybody that challenges his control. And he tells everybody when they're starting to challenge him, just back off. You know, he's always saying back off. And it's like, dude, you realize we're allowed to challenge you. Like we don't have to back off.
Yeah, we have a constitution in this country.
You're right. So I just found it odd. I find his behavior bizarre. You know, I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him on how he's applying this law. There's obviously I'm not alone. You know, there are other people, other legal experts out there that, and I don't position myself as a legal expert in the slightest. I'm a paralegal. I work for attorneys. I understand the process. That's what I understand legalese. I understand what I'm reading, but far from an expert.
I understand as well.
Yeah. And, you know, there are legal experts out there that are, you know, bona fide attorneys still practicing law that agree with my position as well. So it's not like I'm sitting over here alone in these arguments. I mean, I do have support, and there is support. Obviously, you know, the media coalition's fighting it. Let's see if they continue the fight.
I mean, I got a lot of attorneys on speed dial that if I need something, I can call them.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's crazy. This case has been crazy from out the gate. It's been a bizarre case, no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, any other items or comments you'd like to make?
No, I just woke up. I can barely talk. My face is frozen.
That sucks.
I'm glad they didn't have Turtle Island last night.
I'm surprised. Did Dolly even go live last night?
Nope.
I didn't think so, because that's one of the things I do is when I wake up in the middle of the night, because I usually use the restroom and then I go lay back in bed and I turn, whoever's on, whether it's Dumplin' or Dolly, and I'll just set the phone off and just and listen to.
I saw you on Dumplin' last night.
Yeah, just for a few moments. I just popped in to say hi, and when I realized I wasn't going back to sleep, I got up and started working. So.
I gotta get some sleep.
Yeah. Well, you go get some rest, my friend. You deserve it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Bless.
All right, Betty.
Bye-bye, Mab. Have a great day.
You too.
Nice. That's nice. So Mab in the house. Thank you, Mab, for calling in. I do appreciate it. He did sound tired. Poor guy, right? He did sound tired. He sounded really tired. Oh, thank you guys. So just to come over here and let's go to the channel sponsors for today. So we have a lot of people I don't see until after the fact. So let me grab this. Mama Bullhorn in the house. Good morning, Mama Bullhorn. What is shaking bacon?
It's raining. It's raining.
I know. I heard it raining on the house. The roofers haven't been here all week, and I went out there and checked the permit. I see nothing checked off on the permit. So I think.
Oh, really?
I think we're waiting for the inspector to come.
Oh, well, I'd be calling the county office.
Yeah. Well,
But,
I did. Glenn's been keeping me updated. He's like, "Oh, they've been by. They dropped by and looked at the roof, and it was the company. The company did. My roof company." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's good to know." I said, "I'm always in that back room. Like, I don't know anybody's here, and it's always the neighbors that tell me."
Yeah. Well, Glenn is an eagle eye.
Yes.
What I'm calling about is Ann Taylor. She has a budget, and she's burning through it. I mean, she is burning through her budget.
I don't know if they have a cap on
was-
her budget, Mom. I really don't, because
Oh, what-
I'm looking at the contract and it's not. It doesn't cap it. That's my problem.
Well, first of all, in the very beginning, I remember reading an article that she herself got $200 an hour, and then she was allowed 2 second chairs, a second chair and a third chair, at both $180 an hour.
She's allowed up to 4.
Now,
The chair number 3 and chair number 4 have to have their own individual contract. She's allowed to have her and a second chair. The third chair and the fourth chair have to be under separate contract and approved. And she got one of them approved.
Okay. But the cost of witnesses and evidence is unlimited.
And not only that,
So-
I mean, we haven't even gotten into the cost for the witnesses. Think about it, guys. We've got witnesses in 3 different states. We've got Idaho witnesses, we've got Washington State witnesses, and we've got PA witnesses. These are people that have to be flown in, similar like Letitia Stout, where they had all the law enforcement. 3 different states have to come to Colorado to testify.
Yes, and that costs a fortune because they have to put them in a hotel.
They have to pay them for their time. Got to pay for their travel expenses.
Yes. But anyways, and as far as the DNA, I think, first of all, that there's more than we know. Of course, there's more than we know, because they're not going to give out what they have.
Right.
They can't. And I firmly believe Bill Thompson, he was so quiet in that hearing.
He's got something.
He's like a silver fox. He's letting his second chair do the work, because I think it's going to be a slam dunk. It's going to be just like Murdaugh.
Yeah.
The Attorney General actually prosecuted that. The Attorney General himself prosecuted the Murdaugh case. And this judge, they need to bring Newman.
We need South Carolina Judge Newman over in Idaho, please.
Oh, my God, yeah. Or Grady Judd.
This judge here just seems like he's so busy trying to control everything, and he has got to learn he's not going to be able to. He's going to have to let go, and he's going to have to learn to pick which battles he wants to fight, because he's going to be fighting a lot of battles if he keeps doing this. I'm my opinion. I mean, just my opinion. I mean, he's referring to the Daybell cases as the reasons for all this, as the decision maker for the cameras. And it's like, look, dude, that was a high profile case that you're actually referring to, that the defense has referred to in several pleadings, is the Vallow Daybell case. So I went and looked at it. I went and looked at Chad's case, and I went to look at Lori's case. You know what they didn't have? Neither one of them? A non-dissemination order. So Judge John, J.C. Judge, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Well, first of all, we have to look back at the definition of the judge. The judge is there to keep order, to make sure everybody applies the rules of the court, and to make sure that this does not go for appeal, or it doesn't have grounds for appeal. And quite frankly, I think he's failed on all of those. I mean, come on. He's allowing Ann Taylor to just rule the roost.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, he's given, like I've never seen something so crazy before.
And I agree with Bill Thompson's second chair. There has never been any grounds to acquire employment records of a witness. That's of course you get their credentials, their curriculum vitae, but as far as their employment records to see if they've ever been reprimanded, yada, 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 that is totally wrong, because that becomes public record. Okay? People are entitled to privacy. Okay? I don't want I have nothing to worry about.
But that's not the point. That's not the point, though.
I don't want my employment record to become public record.
Right.
Because everybody in the world can access it. No, you got to draw the line.
Yeah, and I think the state had a good argument with the whole, investigative genealogy testing, because there were so many people that would have gotten a hit because.
I mean, how could they narrow it down? That's 90% of the time. That's the only way they can narrow down who could it be, is by genealogical lineage. I've never done the genealogy, the DNA thing. I do the genealogy, but I know you have.
Yeah.
But that's enough. One person in the family, that's enough. It'll link it back to everybody.
Yeah.
But
and our family's scattered. I mean, we've definitely got a scattered family throughout the United States. There's no doubt about that. But
Yeah. Yes, I found a cousin on my grandfather's side in England, reaching out through Ancestry. So you got to be careful about that kind of stuff.
And then his sister was well known in theatrics and movies and.
Oh, that's another thing I wanted to ask. Okay, Brady Giglio. All right, she was there. Okay, didn't that break some kind of rules to have the defendant's family member on the site, the murder site? I'm thinking, how did she get away with that? She was with Ann Taylor's staff.
Oh, that wasn't his sister. That wasn't his sister that was out there. I had a person literally drive out there and take a picture of this woman, and they swore to me that it was his sister, and I doubled down on it, and it wasn't his sister, because his sisters were both in Pennsylvania when he was being arraigned in Pennsylvania for the extradition hearing.
Okay, all right.
So no, that wasn't his sister.
But
I had, you're right, because we were told it was, and I actually had a source out there in Moscow, and I had that person literally drive to that house, and they saw, they took pictures of the person we thought was the sister, as well as Ann and her team going in and out of the house. So I actually had somebody outside of the house when they were there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Once again, Banfield was wrong.
Yep.
Did she ever come back and correct herself?
She never does. That's why she keeps getting fired from all of her jobs.
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
But you know what? I really believe a lot of it is the media organization itself, her having to be, run with stories, whether she thinks they're right or not. They don't care. They don't care. When they have nothing, they'll run with something.
Well, you know what the thing is? She's a commentator more than a news anchor. News anchors have to sign a contract saying they'll be unbiased, they'll be truthful as possible. Banfield gets away with it. Her, Cuomo, all of them, because they are not real news anchors. They're commentators.
That's what people don't realize. There's different aspects of journalism, from reporting to investigating to gonzo to sports to political. There's a lot of different types. There's a lot of different styles of journalism, and commentating is one of them. And I would think, but you know what? And News Nation does break news. They break news. It was Ashley Banfield was the one that broke that. What did she break? Bryan. It was something with Bryan Kohberger. I think it was the grand jury. She broke the grand jury. So they do break news, but it's just not. It's few and far between, especially in light of this. I've never seen any. I mean, we've been covering true crime for a really long time. I've just never seen a case ran like this. Like this judge is not running the case like I have ever seen a criminal case ran ever. I'm confused. I'm so confused.
Speaking of cases and grand juries, do you think there'll ever be a grand jury in Summer's case?
I do.
It's been 2 years.
I think.
How long are they going to wait?
I really believe in my heart of hearts that they're getting really close. I don't know. There's a reason why I'm not really covering her case as thoroughly, because we did cover her case thoroughly. I stand upon what we've already been able to provide in her case. I'm not going to keep going and rehatching and trying to explain. It seems like a lot of the information that was disputed, 2 years ago is now rearing its ugly head and being rediscussed and everything. And it just causes confusion. But I do believe that, Summer Wells there's going to be justice for that little girl soon. I really believe that in the next year, I believe that somebody will be arrested and held accountable for her disappearance and ultimate death. I do believe she's gone. But it's just another case where I just don't have trust, because there's so many despicable people out there in Hawkins County, and I feel bad for the good people that live out there.
Well, look how long it's taken for Delphi.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, but the thing is, they didn't know who he was. I mean, he finally was developed, and they finally were able to link Richard Allen to the case. But here, I don't think they have that problem. I mean, it to me, it seems like the only possibility that it could be is the Wells, the parents. There's go ahead.
At the very minimum, the state attorney should be able to press charges for child neglect resulting in the disappearance, similar to what they were working on with Harmony. The parents should be in jail. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They need to lock them up and then see who screams first.
Because they did lock John up. Nobody screamed first. He maintained his innocence.
I have said from the very beginning, when they showed that picture of her in the back seat, and I saw the bruises and her fingers, and even a doctor was on Chris McDonough.
Mm-hmm.
After, you remember, I called you and said that child is cyanotic. there's something wrong.
Yeah. She was
could have gotten into
dying. And it appeared she was dying in the backseat of that car. I don't know if she was dead because on duty, Ron, one of their doctors said that her skin wasn't sagging, which is indicative of her being dead, deceased. So because
I think she was cyanotic. She was comatose, and she had either gotten into Skittles or been snake bit or something. And the other thing is, I think Candace left her in the car because she didn't know what to do.
Yeah. And then when she realized she was dead, she drove like a bat out of hell off the property and left.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it for me, honey. I'm heading south tonight to go north.
Gotcha.
But call your baby sister. She went to New York, but please call her.
I don't have time to do it today. I'll try to get to her this week, or within the week. But I've been so slammed, it's hard. I don't even have hardly time to see you or call you.
It's kind of important. Okay. All right. I love you.
All right, Mom. Have a great day. Thank
you. Bye-bye.
Love you.
I love everyone. Bye-bye.
I don't know where I'm supposed to get all this time. Like, I understand everybody's life is important. I just don't have time. I don't have time. Like, my phone literally goes off all day long, and I'm sitting there. I can only do my even text messages and messengers. I can only do it certain times a day because I'll call Sissy, Mom. I'll call Sissy, okay? Just when you're on the phone with me, just throw it up. Just tell me what it is so I don't have to make the call. I'm a busy woman over here. I'll call Sis. All right. Hold on one second. I'm going to make one more phone call here because I did see somebody called in and I wasn't able to get to them. So I'll call you back and see what you have to say. You know who you are. Excuse me.
Hello.
Hey, I'm calling you. You're live. I saw that you called in when Mom called.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to call back because I figured maybe you were wanting to get off your live already. No, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. What's driving me crazy is I think Ann Taylor's like trying to make a name for herself after all this is said and done.
Yeah.
She's running the next OJ dream team here. But bringing I don't know what you think about her bringing Bryan and hair gel. That cracked me up. I haven't seen that before. I mean, it ain't gonna help him.
Special. It's just treating him different than other criminals in the Idaho justice system is what I have a problem with. If you're going to provide this kind of defense for Bryan, you need to be providing this kind of defense for all capital criminals in that state.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it cracks me up. I mean, they're trying to get them going so hard to dress him up and put hair gel on. I mean, they're trying to change who he really is. You know what I mean? It shows more that, to me, that they're trying to make him innocent when they know he's not.
Well, and that's
look
the
innocent
process.
anyway.
You were dealing with it with Leilani too. Remember the last time we went in there, she was stressed out.
Yep.
So it's just it's so that they're not, because the way it's reading is that they say that with them being in the jumpsuit, it's prejudicial to them because the jury is already seeing them as a criminal. I mean, that's basically.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, why not? Like you said, they don't do it to every defendant.
Right.
Why is it just certain cases? It seems like all the cases that are very out there in the public are the ones that get the special treatment. They get more special treatment than anyone else. And I think Judge is worried about being judged again. I think that's
he
why
is. That's what it comes down to. He does not. He is a very arrogant man. I mean, when you hear him, and every time, like if anybody challenges, he literally gets frustrated. He's trying to keep you can see him frustrated. He's keeping a professional composure, but it's like, dude, quit taking this so personal. It's not a personal attack against you. You're doing this wrong, and I understand you're unexperienced, but look. You're in the big leagues now. It's time to get experienced.
Exactly. I think he's insecure with himself. I mean, when he came up and bundled the names up, and he got called out on it, I think that was right then and there. He's like, doesn't want the cameras because he's afraid of being judged.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think he's competent to be a death penalty.
I think he's competent. I think he's inexperienced.
Well, I mean, I'm not incompetent, but I meant like more like insecurity kind of about his himself,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stacey Anna, I wanted to say hi. I haven't had a chance to say hi to you in like forever, so it's nice to see your name in my chat again. All right, sorry, Karen.
That's okay.
So
yeah, but that's and then another thing on the drug house. I mean, obviously that the victims didn't appear in any way to be any kind of. I mean, they might have been had a party house, which college place doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be out there if they were into hard drugs, and you could see they had their stuff together. They, there might have been one next door, like you're saying, but I mean, I feel bad that they're getting called out, for that when you could apparently see they had their stuff together. They were doing good, and they were on the right path to, make a life for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad, for parents have to keep hearing that,
Yeah.
But I guess time will tell everything.
Yeah.
But like I learned in Letitia Gannon, I shouldn't say Letitia Gannon Stubbs case. I mean, I followed that case from the minute it came on YouTube for 3 years, and I thought I knew just about everything. And you find out when trial comes, wow, I didn't know this, and this,
Mm-hmm. Well, so, I just ran across some things that, we've been following this case from the beginning, and there's several things that I came across that I was unaware of.
Yeah, there's always going to be stuff. And I mean, we'll find out at trial. I mean, they can't put everything out there, obviously,
Yeah, but what they're doing is wrong. I'm sorry. No matter how you look at this, what they're doing is wrong. They're trying to keep this from a public trial. The judge does not, he obviously doesn't believe in the law in which he is, sitting up there to uphold. Again, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect this channel. We're going to be out there. We're going to be there live in front of that courthouse. I really don't care whether they have cameras or not. I just believe that it's the right thing to do because it's a public trial and it should be open to the public. And it shouldn't be up for the judge to demand that everybody has to be there in person to a public trial in 2023, where we have all this technology that doesn't require us to be corralled into a building together neck to neck post-COVID.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, every trial should be public, especially the ones that the public are very interested in,
Right.
And
I feel like he's using it as the carrot, dangling the carrot, because I truly believe he's using it as the caveat. If he's challenged on this non-dissemination order again, he's going to take it out on this camera. He's going to punish the Associated Press for challenging him. That's what he's going to do. I'm telling you, I already see it. I already foresee it coming.
Yeah, I do too. I agree. I mean, and he's just looking, to blame somebody to, go ahead and make one little mistake and the cameras are gone. It's like he's threatening.
He can't handle people.
He's literally out there threatening.
Mistake. And that's
like I said, I think from the day he, messed up Kaylee's name and was it Xana's name, I believe.
Yep.
And he got judged on that. Judge don't like being judged.
No, and he doesn't like people challenging him because he thinks he's the authority and just because you're a judge, you don't get to do whatever the hell you want just because you wear that robe. No, you're required to follow the law just like everybody else.
Exactly. There was a question I wanted to ask you, I can't remember. I just lost my thought. I can't remember what it was. I was going to ask you something. Oh well.
I really don't think that this new non-dissemination order bodes with the law, where it's not overly broad. I still think this non-dissemination order is overly broad. It's vague, and I don't believe it's narrowly drawn. I believe that I still believe that this judge, he's creating his own problems that he's bitching about, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah. It's true. How do you do you know if I haven't heard, I don't know if you've heard anything, but is the prosecution trying to keep cameras out too, like in
Oh,
Lonnie's case?
they're all in it together. The
They
prosecution,
are in it
the
together,
defense,
yeah.
they're all in agreements with this. That's why it's so important for this coalition of media is challenging it, because usually you'll have like the defense or the state, one of them challenging it, so you really don't need to get involved. But here you've got them all. They don't want anybody involved. They just want to be able to do whatever the hell they want to do. They don't want the public involved. They don't want anybody questioning them. They just want to do whatever that they want to do, whether it's above board or not. And I'm sorry, it's not how I was raised. That's not how I was taught.
Right. And the point where they're not putting cameras on his face. Same thing with Leilani, remember? They didn't want her being shown talking to lawyers. They didn't want her shown walking in and out. Why do they get special treatment? I mean, nobody else gets it.
Like I said, it looks like he researched the law related to the cameras, and it seems like that Idaho is pro-camera unless there are extenuating. So he's trying to push the media. Oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. And if you do this, we're going to have you removed. And if you do this, we're going to have you removed. He's making it so strict that he can throw the cameras out at any time. It's in his discretion. He doesn't need to have them there anyways. He could throw them out, but it looks like he's trying, but he's dangling the carrot. He's using that as the blackmail. You challenge me on this non-dissemination order, I'm pulling your cameras. I can see him doing it. I have no faith in this judge.
No, I don't. I didn't from the first hearing. I didn't like him. I really didn't. And you think what do you call it? The family and the prosecution not kind of seeing eye to eye is going to hurt anything in this case?
It looks like the prosecution's not playing nice with the Gonzalez family. Period.
I know, it's terrible.
The Gonzalez family has already, and I think I pegged the issue. The Gonzalez family has already provided their notice that they wish to sue. They wish to sue the Latah County. So it sounds
do you think that's going to hurt them?
I'm sorry?
Do you think that's going to hurt?
Well, I was just about to explain. So
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I believe that what they're doing here is they're basically like the Gonzalez has representation. Part of that representation, when you hire an attorney in a situation like this, you're hiring him to speak on your behalf. Again, let me rephrase that. Speak. Let me not rephrase it. Let me reiterate that. Speak on your behalf. You want the attorney to speak on your behalf because you don't want the liability of making the mistake. An attorney has, if he makes a mistake, he's got liability insurance. He's got all these different things. He can be sued for malpractice. There's something that you can claim. So what they're essentially doing in this court is saying, oh, victims, you have a right, but you don't have a right to representation. So they're literally stripping the Gonzalez of their right to have proper representation, victims of a crime. And this judge thinks that that's okay and that the Supreme Court's going to agree with him. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't think Shannon Gray should be under this non-dissemination order. And I think if Shannon Gray challenges it to the Supreme Court, he will be successful. And shame on this judge for putting this family, the victim's family, through this, because he's trying. I truly believe they're using this as a strategic effort to strip the Gonzalez of their rights to representation so they can make a mistake and that can be used against them in the civil action with Latah County. I think it's a racket and I can see right through it. And that is, it's ticking me off.
Yeah, I know. I could see that too. I mean, I just feel, I look at the, Stout case and, from day one, them prosecutors were like, right on the side of the family the whole way. And that's always good to see, that, the closeness and, the fight that they have in them. And I think this is just putting like a wedge, in the case. Not to say the outcome.
This is that's
not, you're supposed to be there to support the family, you know what I mean? You're there for, on behalf of their children, I think it's terrible.
This is a small community. These people, Bill Thompson is not used to somebody telling him what to do. Judge is not used to somebody telling him what to do. None of these people in this community are used to being challenged like they're being challenged right now. And they don't know how to handle it. They're cocky. guys. They have pissing contest problems in this community.
Exactly.
You can clearly see that this is an issue. This is not something, they've lost focus of what a public trial truly is. They've lost focus that other people matter in this case besides Bryan Kohberger. They have put so much weight on his fair trial that the hell to with anybody else's rights. And
Right.
I truly believe if this is challenged, the Supreme Court will not rule in this judge's favor, or may rule in part where they say, we agree with the judge on this part, but definitely don't agree on this part. Because I'm telling you, he's not doing this right. Anybody that's all of these cases, these high profile cases, for any length of time, realize that this judge, there's something going on here. We feel it, we see it. There's something not right.
No, there's definitely something not right.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter whether it's live or not live, I don't know how they think that the media is not going to swarm them, outside the courthouse.
Let me ask you.
It's almost like it almost thinks like they're gonna, the judge almost thinks like, oh, not live, it was gonna go away. That they don't want all the publicity and out there, in this small little community, but it's gonna happen either way.
It's going to happen either way. You're right, but still, the stuff that they're doing is wrong. It's wrong. This judge believes he has authority over people he has no jurisdiction over. Like, to me, my mind's blown.
Yep. I think he should just recuse himself.
Yeah.
I don't think he belongs on this case,
Yeah.
And it's just I just can't put myself in the victims' families, their minds, their hearts, watching what it's bad enough what they're going through, but to watch this, it's almost like they're fighting harder for their children than the court systems are.
That's what caused this friction between the Gonzalez and the legal.
Yep, I don't blame them. I mean, it just seems like they're fighting. They really are fighting harder. You know what I mean? These publicity cases, get me because it's always the defendant seems to get more of the rights than the victims.
Mm-hmm.
It's very upsetting to see.
Yeah.
But I still think, I'm one of them 100%. I believe he's guilty. I believe he's going to be convicted. I just hope that everything's done the right way and there's no, obviously going to be appeals, but it's going to be a long process.
Yeah. Yeah.
For many, many years to come. But I just hope the right thing's done and these victims get the justice they deserve,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's about it.
Gotcha.
Well, it was nice to talk to you. I know you've been so busy lately, so I try not to call you too much, too much.
Well, I just been turning because I've been so busy reading all these documents. You got to understand, I have thousands of pages of documents.
Yeah, I know you've been busy.
And that's not even including all the other personal stuff that I'm having to read and do and whatnot. So I've been so slammed here. It's been very, very difficult. So, but hey, I'm only one person. I try. That's all I can do is try.
Well, hopefully we'll be together. We'll be able to get together real soon and have lunch again.
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to be leaving today to go on a road trip, and I just can't do it. I'm in a lot of pain. Mom's knee.
Yeah.
It's just too much for me.
Yeah, you need some more time to heal your back.
I'm hoping in a couple more weeks this is all just a faint memory, and we're back on. Because I don't like pain, and I've got so much work around here that needs to be done.
Yeah, well, let you back here before you try doing any more work.
Yeah.
We don't want to see you laid up any more than what you are. I'm sure you're not the type of person that likes being laid up.
Mm-mm.
So.
At all.
But anyway, it was nice chatting with you.
Okay, have a great day. God bless.
All right, I'll see you in the morning.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that's the last call I'm taking today. We're already at the end of our show. I just want to tell you all, thanks for coming in here. For those that help contribute to this channel and the document request, I've requested a couple more pieces of information before I can release some of this because it's going to be very difficult in some respects, but Again, I wanted to tell everybody hi. So we got Van Lady. Thank you for your $10 contribution. We have 8 months from Dixie, Kentucky Girl. She says, good morning. Betty, Mods, and Coffee Club. Thank you. The Real Me Too says, no one can plan a perfect murder. Sorry, defense hair gel isn't going to make him look innocent. I love that. Thank you, The Real Me Too. Lulu's Nana says, thanks for being you. God bless you. ZA has the game controller. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so very much. Guys, thanks for being here. We're going through all of this stuff. We're just trying to make heads or tails of it. We're trying to put everything in, a form. Like when this whole objection to state's motion for protective order, there's a lot of good information in here, such as the labs and the fact that there's multiple DNA hits that were never that were for unknown male DNA. We learned about some other information when they started receiving tips and everything about the car. We're realizing that the defense is challenging the DNA. They're challenging the investigative genealogy testing. They're really trying their hardest to get this stuff thrown out. They're trying to prove that there's no connection to the victims, and I think they're falling flat because that Brett Payne affidavit is so strong. They do have DNA that links Bryan Kohberger to the victims. We do realize that there was some dumb luck that was associated with this, primarily related to the white Elantra. It seems to me that the defense is grasping to straws. They're trying to allege that the law enforcement potentially is trying to frame Bryan Kohberger, which couldn't be further from the truth. They're implying that the defense, as well as prosecution of wrongdoing, intentional wrongdoing, which I don't believe. And they're alleging a bunch of stuff and almost making comical assertions here that are falling flat, in my opinion, such as when they have a section on page 6 that says Mr. Kohberger has a reason to be extremely suspicious of the IgG used in this case, and it goes on to a couple more sentences and ends with, this is akin to police pulling in Mr. Kohberger and 5 of his cousins off the streets and then pointing at him. I don't believe that is akin to what they have done. I think that what they've done is a thorough investigation. Bryan Kohberger made mistakes. Those mistakes cost Bryan Kohberger his ability to get away with this crime, thank God. And we are where we are today because of the mistakes that he made. And thankfully, he did make those mistakes. And I am absolutely confident he made even more. And I'm absolutely confident that there is more DNA linking Bryan Kohberger to the victims outside of just the sheath. I think the sheath is all we know about. And even having that biological connection from Bryan Kohberger to the victims, the defense is still saying, hey, there's nothing to see over here, right? I think there's a lot to see over there. And I think we're going to watch it as it starts coming out a little by slow. So anyways, guys, thank you for being here. God bless you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe and kind to one another. Good day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.